Imagine a hero shooter where the hero never showed. Imagine a game with a player base that just refused to grow. A 5v5 hero shooter with gameplay that's just okay, and characters that remind me of Tupperware and white bread. No, I'm not talking about Overwatch. Please stop bringing up Overwatch. This game is not Overwatch. It's actually something else. Imagine a game with a story that no one watches. A game that costs $40 that Sony totally botches. It has all my favorite characters, like Lemmy, Dawn, and Craig. At least, I think that's what their names are. I never bothered to check. Concord like the grave, your legacy is safe as a game that no one played, and a price that no one paid. Boop-a-doop-ba, deep-a-doop-da, scoop-a-boop-ba, beep-beep-beep-beep-beep, phlegm. Concord was about as good as accidentally peeing on your own leg. Concord, we're here to lay you to rest. We know you tried your best. You copied so much cool stuff just to turn out lame in the end. I'll never forget my favorite moments, like when Hot Sauce Guy jumped. Remember when he jumped? That was really cool. A rat just ran by on my desk, and even the rat didn't want to play Concord, even though I blessed him with the chance. The $40 he could afford, but the rat just stared on in a trance. Rat, 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 rat. Concord's dead. Rat, 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 rat. Concord's dead. The Costco guys made more money than you. They were just on Jimmy Fallon too. Imagine Lennox being on Jimmy Fallon, because I literally can't. The rat on my desk is eating all my Cheerios and grapes, and also Concord is dead. Concord like the grave, your legacy is safe as a game that no one played, and a price that no one paid. Rat-a-ta-ta, beep-a-da, boop. Skim, milk, the rat fleet, doo-da, doo-da. A guy said he really liked it, and then a bunch of rats ate his face. That's the sound he made when Concord passed away. I wish things turned out different, but either way I'm getting paid. Concord's dead, Concord's dead, and boy is my face red. When the game came out, everybody overslept. Concord's dead, Concord's dead. Holy crap, Lois, Concord's dead. When the game out, people played everything else instead.
In Gotham where the brick stack high, Lego Batman swoops lighting up the sky. Legacy of the Dark Knight, looking so fine, got that reggae rhythm. Games divine, click clack, plastic capes in the breeze. Villains trembling, falling to their knees. From Arkham's ashes, a Lego star's born. This game's so hot, it's Rasta reborn. Oh, Lego Batman, legacy of the Dark Knight, shining so bright, it's still in the fight. Game of the year 2026, it's true. GTA 6 crying, what we gonna do? A Lego game picking up Arkham's crown. Suicide Squad, y'all let us down. Rastabat cave with a brick build vibe. Lego Dark Knight keeping hope alive. rank snapping, built from Lego blocks. Penguins waddling, but he's out of stock. Suicide Squad tried, but he crashed and burned. Should have been like this, man, lessons learned. GTA 6, Vice City's looking shook. Lego Batman's got them shook in their books. A toy game taking Arkham's holy grail. That's the capes winning, that's the funny tale. Oh, Lego Batman, legacy of the Dark Knight, shining so bright, it's still in the fight. Game of the year, 2026, it's true. GTA 6 crying, what we gonna do? A Lego game picking up Arkham's crown. Suicide Squad, y'all let us down. Rasta Cave with a brick built vibe. Lego Dark Knight, keeping hope alive. Yo, Rocksteady, what happened, man? Your squad game flop left us all withdrawn. Lego's got the mantle, carrying the flame. A brick built Batman running the game. GTA 6 calling your we're scared. Lego Bruce Wayne got 'em unprepared. Jah bless the bricks, this game's the one. 2026 Batman's having too much fun. Oh, Lego Batman, legacy of the Dark Knight, shining so bright, it's still in the fight. Game of the year, 2026, it's true. GTA 6 crying, what we gonna do? A Lego game picking up Arkham's crown. Suicide Squad, y'all let us down. Fade out with the bass in the Gotham light. Lego Batman, Irie taking flight.
We are vibing. We are.
I'm vibing.
For that is what we do on days such as today. Welcome. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully good. Hopefully you are vibing too. Hopefully you're popping and locking and dropping. That's what we need to do. We have a few really exciting things. Tell you what, a few really crazy exciting things. Did you know today we have a new Horizon game to look at? What? Yeah. Jor is trying to keep himself contained. He's trying to keep it together. I don't know how he's gonna do it, but we do have a new Horizon game to look at. That's insane. We have a bizarre Call of Duty campaign that is being beaten by a small independent studio, which is crazy. There's a lot. We also have one of the most insane things that I can think of happening in corporate gaming in a long time. So we're going to talk about it. There's a lot. It's a little insane. So there we go. New Blood of Dawnwalker gameplay trailer 2. Yeah, there's a lot. It's it's not as hopping as like, Game Awards or Summer Games Fest or something, but there's still plenty to talk about. Still plenty. Okay. It's going to be a good time. How are you guys before we get into it? How's everybody doing? You vibing? I'm drinking a blueberry, or sorry, as the Brits say, blueberry tea. It's quite good. Quite good. Jackson, thank you for the 10. Very generous. My goodness. Thank you. Lies. It's just candle wax. Yeah, it's a blueberry candle.
Jackson donated $10 through Super Chat. Hey Luke, I connected my YouTube to the Discord, but I'm still not receiving the invite to your Discord. Are you able to send me one directly? Thanks for everything you do.
Yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah, if you just go where link tree/Luke Stevens, I think. Yeah. If you just go to my link tree and you go, there's an email address right here for business inquiries. If you send an email to that, it goes to me and the team. But if you send an email there with like a screenshot proving you're a member, Twitch sub, whatever, we can brute force it and get you in the server. So just send the screenshots and we can hook you up. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Sometimes it's weird. I mean, it's kind of frustrating that it's so inconsistent, but yeah, sometimes the Discord thing works great. Other times it does not. And it's just kind of a crapshoot, unfortunately. Motown Mo, thank you for the 5. Thank you. No OnlyFans Luke. Well, I'm not going to put it in the link tree. You got to like do a little searching, you know. It's under my what's a pen name but for a performer's name? I don't know. It's under my pseudonym for performances. It's the same one I use as my rap name. It has to do with my complexion. Just search sour cream. That's my stage name. I'm realizing now that I say that out loud, saying my stage name in the context of OnlyFans, saying it's sour cream is extra gross. Sorry. Didn't think that one through. Oops. Anyway. I'm like, because I'm white. I'm really white. It's the complexion of sour cream. That's my rapper name. But then I was like, wait, in the context of OnlyFans, that's like really gross. So anyway, yeah, you slide die. Anyway, continuing on. Jesus Christ. I literally just joined the stream. Sorry, Steel. Sorry, Steel Bones. You knew this was a risk. You knew this was a risk. You knew. This should be a surprise. Excuse me. Co-Carnage stream in the AM. Luke Stevens live in the PM. Hell yeah. Glad to have you here. Co's awesome. I'm honored to be put in the same grouping. Zenzo, thank you for the 5. Can we talk about how Starfield players accepting paid mods as normal is bad for Elder Scrolls 6? Skyrim only survived so long because of free mods. I'm worried. Dude, I think I'm past the point of worry and I'm just at the point of acceptance or depression, one of the two. But I'm just at the point where I'm like, it's gonna be filled with paid mods. It's gonna be sucky. It's gonna be broken. They're still, you want to know how they responded? This is insane. Hold on. Responds to Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. Of course, the very first thing that they started working on was fixing the in-game store. But let me talk about this real quick. News segment. So it is true. This super chat brought it up. Can we talk about how Starfield players accepting paid mods as normal is bad for Elder Scrolls 6? Skyrim's only survived so long because of free mods. Yeah, that's all absolutely true. I think the players are getting used to it, and the core player base that they rely on bankrolling all of this, they just tolerate it, roll over, and make excuses for it. And, you know, you can see it in the reaction. So Bethesda has responded to the Anniversary Edition stuff because, long story short, if you somehow missed it over the last few days, Bethesda updated Fallout 4 again to celebrate the 10th anniversary, not with a ton of free content or whatever. They released an update that broke free mods all over again, added 150 paid mods if you spent $40 to upgrade the base game to the Anniversary Edition, or I think it's $20 if you already owned all of the DLC besides that. But if you spent $20 to $40, you got free paid mods included in your game. But it was so broken at launch that the in-game store didn't work. People's in-game paid mods didn't redeem. Even people like me who didn't pay for the paid mod upgrade because F that, we were being told by the game that we owned it, but it was having trouble loading it. The whole thing was a cluster, and it still has not fixed major problems with the game. And Bethesda has responded to this after breaking the game once again. And naturally, their approach is to fix the in-game store first and foremost. They do have a hot fix planned early next week. Not that hot, really. It aims to fix these problems. Stability and problems, particularly on Xbox One and PS4. So those consoles from 2013, they're working on fixes for that.
Lone Digger donated £10 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Can we get a petition together to get rid of Todd Howard?
Todd's not going anywhere, buddy. He's staying there. He is staying at Bethesda until he retires, softly and sweetly in the middle of the night, peacefully. That's what it's gonna be. I don't think he's disappearing until he's like 80 years old, dude. I don't think he's going anywhere. And at the very least, he gives us content, so there's that. They are also going to be fixing an issue causing creations that rely on DLC not to work. Can you imagine that? You spend $60 on a 10-year-old game, and if you bought the DLC and there's a mod relying on that DLC, it doesn't work. How they didn't plan for that, I don't know. Fixing an issue causing DLCs to become uninstalled after updating the game on PlayStation. Not to mention, a bunch of the paid mods are not included on PlayStation. You can pay the same price as somebody upgrading to that edition on Steam or Xbox, but if you're on PlayStation, there are a number of these free included mods that don't work for you. They're not compatible. They just charge you more for less. It's insane. Or the same for less. It's wild. After that, Bethesda has a pair of patches planned. The first is slated for the week of November 24th. So like a solid 2 weeks after this all happened. The second, sometime in the first half of December, and they are not including details on what will be in those patches yet. They're not including details on that. That's how they're responding to breaking their own game. Once again, just to add in a new game store and all of that. And you want to know, again, I just want to frame this again in the context of how incompetent Bethesda has become, okay? This is like actually insane. Bethesda dropped this, has major bugs and issues to the point where they're not even like, the game is not playable for a lot of people. Like stuff they paid for doesn't work. You know what happened with KCD2? A competent, capable developer. Well, they ran into a bug when they launched the DLC. So you can see November 12th, they ran into this problem. PSA for players on update 1.5. We found an issue where items hung on the smithy wall may disappear when traveling between locations, like Trosecco to Kuttenberg to the monastery, etc. If you've already lost items, load an earlier save to recover them. Otherwise, remove the hanged items before switching areas to prevent this from happening. We're working on a fix. So they announced the problem on the 12th. Okay, pretty. I'd say it's a significant problem if you're hanging stuff on the walls. They issued the update 2 hours ago that fixes all of this, adds a bunch of other quest dialogue and stability fixes and improvements in the new DLC. It took them 2 days. 2 days. Bethesda, after a week, we'll have a hot fix that adjusts performance on consoles from over a decade ago. Who knows if it actually improves it. They're not fixing any of the other major problems introduced by this or compatibility issues. And then they have other updates set for 2 weeks after the release of the anniversary update and for a month after that. But they still don't know what they're going to do to improve it. Like, this is just the difference in competence versus incompetence. They identify an issue, they have the fix sent out through a hotfix within 2 days, and they fix a bunch of other stuff at the same time. Meanwhile,
Lo-Fi
BGS
Lazy
can't
donated $10
put an update
through
out that doesn't break
Super
other
Chat.
stuff.
If Dispatch isn't nominated for Best Narrative or Laura Bailey for Invisible, I will make a stink about it in YouTube comments.
Did the cutoff already hit though? I don't know. When is the Game Awards cutoff? I thought it was like the 10th. Have they even announced it? They might not have announced.
Mr. Beard donated 36 Qatari Riyals and 99 dirhams through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Do you know how much did it cost to make Where Winds Meet? Because I've been searching all day and I have found nothing about the game's budget.
I don't know, and I don't think they would say. I think it would be less than you're expecting. Like Eastern studios, Chinese studios, Korean studios, Japanese studios, they are very efficient and they're very cheap. Not because like there's some magic sauce, but literally because, like, for one, crunch culture is much more normalized. It just is.
Luke M.F. Smith donated $9.99 through
Thank
Super
you.
Chat. Poop.
Very generous, thank you. And poop indeed. Let's see. Like, for example, this shocks people when I tell them, but this is an article from a year ago. But it was news that From Software was increasing the average basic salary pay by 11%. That's a pretty good annual increase, okay? But what is this? From Software, one of the biggest, most successful developers in the industry, they print money. What do they pay their base employees? They are increasing the pay for new graduates from $1,775 US a month to $2,050 a month. So their basic salary for their base level employees is $2,000 a month. And that is low for Japan. You're right. That it's not like, well, it's because cost of living is tiny. No, we're talking about like Tokyo. I mean, it's not that expensive, or it's not that cheap to live there. They do not make a lot of money. Okay. But because it's so freaking competitive over there, they have a lot of people who are willing to work at that lower pay rate because everybody in the industry would love to work on a FromSoft game. Imagine how good that looks on your resume. You spend 3 years kind of miserable working on an Elden Ring game or on what is it? Blood something, Dawn Blood, whatever the game next year is. You spend a few years working on that, not making a lot of money, just surviving. But if you can get that on your resume, you can then go apply to any other company around the world and get a pretty fat stack probably. So, but that's how this works, is that they can afford to not pay you much, right? Because of the reputation and the standard. It's like when there was a whole scandal when a Bungie executive said that they liked hiring fans, and he jokingly said, yeah, because they want to work with us so bad because they're a fan of the studio, you don't have to pay them as much. Which like was a joke, but also not. You know, like if they know that you're a huge fan of Bungie stuff, you're applying, they can write you a lower offer because you really, really want the job. So they can get away with it, right? And it's a similar thing here where there's a different dynamic for sure. But that's why something like Where Winds Meet may end up being way cheaper than you may expect. You might be like, oh, that's a $150 million game. Maybe not. Maybe not. It's probably way less than you think it is, because they can get away with paying people less because it's so competitive, and because culturally and everything, the standards are just different there. And in China specifically, and also Japan, and I've heard South Korean studios as well, there's a like the crunch culture complaints that we have in the West. That's not a thing. You complain about crunch culture over there, you just lose your job. You're like, okay, bye. We have 50,000 other people who would love to take your desk. So you're going to work 18-hour days and you're going to like it. You know, it's brutal, but that's why if you're like, wow, it seems like they can make the same game in half the time. I mean, they kind of can, because if a US studio can only get 8 hours of work a day out of you before they have to send you home to spend time with your family, if they can only get 8 hours of work out of you, and the Chinese studio can get 16 to 18 hours of work out of you, they literally will get twice the labor out of you in the same period of time. In a year, they will have more than twice the hours worked, right? So that's just the standard differences. It used to be in the West and in European and American studios, crunch culture was a standard and companies could get away with that. But especially post-COVID, that became taboo, certainly. It was getting taboo before that, but post-COVID, a lot of studios broke free of that. They started doing work from home where they literally can't make you grind and crunch because you're at your house and you can just close the laptop lid, you know? So it's just different. And what's going to be interesting in the next few years is that these Western studios who have a much more pro-employee approach, they are going to be competing with these Eastern studios who do not give a crap. And it's going to be very interesting because you're going to see these Chinese and Korean and Japanese studios that are taking Western studios to the cleaners and making it look easy. And there's going to be a big question of like, can they even compete? You know, similar to what happened with like manufacturing in the US. Like, yeah, everybody wants to raise salaries and wages for steel mill workers in Detroit, But if you can get the same product made in China for half the cost, because they don't care about paying workers a lot, at some point, people are just going to only be buying steel from China, right? Because it's just more competitive. And I really do wonder if something similar is going to happen in the gaming industry, where Western studios just won't be able to compete, you know? So it's going to be very interesting the next few years. It's going to be fascinating. Anyway, so to answer your question, the question you actually asked me, do I know the budget? No. I could have just said that, but you know what you're getting when you come in here. I'm going to ask him a very little narrow question. And then we're going to see that just totally derail. Thank you, Lone, for the membership at the show off tier. That is a show off right there, everybody. Look at that. He's showing off. Jackson, thank you also for the membership as well. And let's see, I think I read the other ones. But going back to your question also about Dispatch, Lo-Fi Lazy, I genuinely don't know when the cutoff is. I tried Googling it. I don't think they've announced when the cutoff is. But I don't think you can nominate Dispatch until like 2 days ago when all of the game was out. And it might be past the cutoff at that point. But I'm not sure. But I do think it should be nominated for Best Narrative, for Best Performance, because even nominate Aaron Paul, because I thought his performance in Dispatch was also phenomenal. It was Phenomenon. It was great. I love Dispatch. Oh, but I'll circle back to this in just a second. Yeah. Sean, thank you.
Sean donated $10 through Super Chat. Are the bones or framework of FO4 fundamentally poorly made, making the game buggy? Or is Bethesda just hiring incompetent employees? FO3 Remaster will ironically be their last good Fallout game.
My understanding, having spoken to people who are way smarter than me, modders and game designers, because I did that video up like a year ago where I asked modders and game developers through a survey how they would fix Starfield, and they had some very interesting insights that I just had no idea about. Lone, thank you. Gee whiz. 10 gifted memberships. Everybody who just got a gifted membership, welcome. Get your booty in the Discord. Connect your YouTube account to Discord and you can join us in there, okay? You can submit videos. We have memes. We have a pet appreciation channel. We have a lot of good fun in there. Yeah, I mean, just look at this. Look at this. You could be part of this. That's awesome. You could be part of this. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I like that. I've always wanted a bird. I'm gonna be real. I've always wanted a bird. Anyway, thank you so much. That's very, very generous, Lone. Thank you. What was I saying? As for the bones and the foundations, I think it's a mixture of things. Fallout is built on very antiquated tech, and a lot of the quality of life improvements that you need to do to an engine like that and to a tool set like the Creation Engine, they just haven't done. The standards haven't really been raised that much. And what a lot of game developers called it was tech debt. They have a lot of technical debt. They have like an albatross around their neck holding them back. And so I think that's a big component of it. There's a lot of things they should have done 10 years ago to the Creation Engine and to Fallout just for quality of life improvements and long-term thinking that they just haven't done. They've been a very short-term focused company for a very long time, which is ironic because their games take so long.
Mr. Beard donated 36 Qatari Rials and 99 dirhams through Super Chat. I may be wrong, but I think that Blood Message will be the game that paves the way for Eastern games to surpass the Western games.
It may be Blood Message. I mean, I think the first domino to fall in that dynamic was probably Black Myth Wukong, because that was a game that was very cheap comparatively, and it just popped off. 2 million concurrent players, a lot of those in Eastern markets for sure, but that game exploded, and I think showed a lot of other developers and publishers that no, you can be successful in the
Kyle
West.
Parkhurst donated $10 through Super Chat. Todd works in mysterious ways.
Indeed.
He has a plan for us all, you know. Praise be.
Praise be. Oh, Todd. Oh, Todd. Somebody commented, they were like, Luke, your Todd candle is running low. You're gonna have to replace it soon. I was like, yeah, we've been burning it so much recently. Imagine when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, how many we're gonna go through. I don't know. Maybe we do like a charity fundraiser or something. You guys we can auction off the Todd candle. You can get the actual Todd candle. We could do that. That could be fun. Do some good. I don't know. Stop drinking it. No. Oh man. Oh man. And then Cindy, thank you for the membership, by the way. Thank you. And let's see, Kyle again, thank you for the 10. That's very generous. And Mr. Mo, I would pay for Dispatch 4 times to get those cutscenes. Am I a gooner? Maybe, but I have money to spend. Am I a gooner? Maybe, but I've got money. Dude, it's so good. I really hope we get like season 2, season 3 of Dispatch. That'd be so good. But anyway, circling back to this, just to wrap it out, Jacob's going to kill me because this is going to be impossible to edit together. But to wrap all this up, I just think I think it is just so telling the level of competence between a studio like Warhorse with KCD2 and what Bethesda is capable of or willing to do. And at this point, it's kind of a blur whether like this is honestly the best they can do or if they just don't care. I genuinely am not sure. I think that it's a mixture of the two. I think they don't care, and that has led them into a position where they have not put in standards that force them and like really prioritize quality and are cutthroat enough to hold people accountable when something is poorly done. And so I think they reinforce each other. The incompetence reinforces the fact that they don't care because they're still successful, even though there's a lot of incompetence. And that incompetence leads to hiring people and maintaining people who are incompetent. Straight up, if there was somebody under my employ and I was running a studio and we issued an update, like the next gen update, and it broke the ultra wide support on the game, like pretty key thing, or VATS, I'd go to whoever's in charge of QA and they would need to have a damn good answer or they'd be fired. Like that is a huge blunder, especially if as the leader of a studio, I know that it's going to take us 1.5 years to fix it because of how long our timelines are. Like that person would be in serious trouble, but that person still works there. The people who are in charge of their customer service still work there after Fallout 76's debacle. Like, of course. But no, they don't care. They don't care. It doesn't matter. It's really bizarre. So anyway, we'll continuing following the Fallout 4 debacle. Probably in another 2 years, we'll have an update on them fixing some of this stuff, and we'll make a video at that point. But before that, we'll see. Did I see the IGN Where Winds Meet review that gave it a 6? Yeah, I didn't recognize the guy that did the review, which usually means they gave it to like a contractor. Somebody who isn't like part of their main review team. Let me see if I can all reviews. Just games. I just went game. Oh, here it is. So like this guy, Jarrett Green. So he's done Double Dragon Revive. I don't know what that is. He did the Claws of Awaji review. Into the Well.
Kyle Parkhurst donated $10 through Super Chat. I haven't seen anyone suggest the idea of the ROG Xbox Ally software on the GameCube. Do we know if that's supposed to be available for other devices at any point?
Of the ROG Xbox Ally software on the GameCube. What I do know is, Kyle, they did say you will be allowed and you will be able to install Windows onto the Steam machine if you want to. I believe the exact phrasing that they had told, I think it was Linus, was, "Who are we to tell you what to do with your PC?" Which is kind of refreshing, honestly. But yeah, I think you'll be able to install whatever software you want. It'll just be a machine. I think the benefit of the Steam machine is that it's a Steam machine, but I do think you'll be able to do that as far as I'm aware. Jim Hawking, also thank you for the 8 months. I'm not even joking. when saying go to Unreal, but is it time for BGS to decide, are they a game dev or a game engine dev? I mean, I think it's time to make that decision. I think for them though, all of the creations, the paid mods, all of that is built on the creation engine and is built on their tool sets for modders. All of it is built on that. And so they, like, if they were to move to a different engine, all of that breaks. So I don't think they ever will. I don't think they ever will. Oh, he reviewed AC Shadows. Okay. Starship Troopers Extermination. But yeah, like, I didn't recognize this guy. And so he's done a lot of work for IGN, but the reviews seemed to kind of come out of left field. And I think a lot of the things he brings up are probably fair. I've not played through the whole game, but I played a lot of the preview build, and there were a lot of things in it where I was just like, okay. It seems like his frustration is that it's a very wide game. And that is not for everybody. It is a wide game. It is not trying to do a few things phenomenally well. It's about variety and just scale. And that for a lot of people is like a selling point, but for this guy, it was a pretty big detriment. Let's see. We should probably talk about the Ubisoft stuff because it's so insane. It's like, this whole thing is insane. Let's see. Okay. Also, That Player's Archive, thank you, or The Player's Archive. Thank you for the resub over on Twitch, my friend. Appreciate you. Thank you. And Lord Musey also subbed yesterday when we weren't streaming. So did Stripes33. Thank you guys for that. Appreciate you. I don't know if you'll see this, but thank you. Did you see Fallout 4 is mostly negative on Steam? I didn't. Hold on. Did the players actually react? Did the players actually do stuff? Yeah, look at that. Somebody said in one of our comments, they were like, Fallout 4 deserves a review bombing. I don't think this is even a review bombing. I think this is just because review bombing indicates or suggests like a coordinated effort to make a big fuss about something. This isn't even really review bombing in my mind. Like, this is just people calling out a game that broke itself 10 years after it launched, and they consistently are updating it with new ways to suck money out of you and breaking mods at the same time. And so, like, I think Maddie put it really well in that video we looked at where he just made an offhand comment. He's like, Fallout 4, besides the DLC, is worse today than it was when it launched. Like, it runs worse, which is true, which is insane. The game that launched 10 years ago, if you go to like mid 2016, the version of the game today is worse than the version in mid 2016. It's again why one of the most popular free mods is to roll back Fallout to previous versions before Bethesda touched it. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. So I'm glad that they're getting some feedback on it, because hopefully what happens is that people who watch season 2 of the show hop on their computers to see about buying this. They see, oh, why is it mostly negative? They click on this and see, oh, they broke it. Oh, load times. That's the one thing. The load times are significantly worse. It used to be that it would be like 10, 20 seconds to load into the open world. Now it can take as many as 2 to 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes. That's insane. So hopefully people see this and react to it, but time will tell. I think more likely most of the people that are going to be buying it after the show are going to be buying it on, like, you know, the Xbox store, going through Game Pass, PlayStation, that type of thing. So anyway, Surat, thank you. Gee whiz, talk about generosity. 20 gifted memberships to the chat. Poggers right there, my friend. Golly. Thank you, my friend. Cheers to that one. Cheers. Indeed. That is baller, my friend. Appreciate you. Everyone who just got a membership, get your booties in the Discord, okay? Get your booties in the Discord. It works for gifted memberships and subs too. It sure do. Sure do. You know it don't work though. Not Bethesda, that too. Ubisoft apparently. Ubisoft apparently. It's just not working. Yeah, it's just not working. So I'm gonna let's talk about this. There's no point in putting it off. Okay, let's just do this. Thank you again, Sarah. That's crazy generous. Thank you. Talk about pogs, indeed. Okay, you ready? Where did that piping hot cup come from? Oh, this isn't what they call, not a sponsor. This is an Ember mug. So it's a mug that, like, I would show you the bottom, but yeah, you can kind of see it there. So you see the little rings. This actually has a heating coil in it and a battery, so you can actually keep your drinks at a steady temperature, even at your desk or whatever. It has like a little battery in it, so you can carry it around and drink your drinks and they stay warm. It's very cool. It's nice for streams or gaming sessions and stuff because you can just have it set and not have to like get up to go get more tea or whatever. Rechargeable. Yeah. So it's on a little coaster right now. I got it for Christmas a while back and it's baller. Yeah, here. Yeah, so Ember mug. So it's got like a little disc, whatever you call it, coaster. And so when you set it on it, it charges it up and then it keeps it juiced up so that it can keep it warm. It's quite chill, quite nice. Very good Christmas presents. I'll tell you what, if you're thinking of getting something for your friends or family, recommend it. That guy, that Jake guy, thank you. It's still running through all of the memberships. Hey Luke, let's run a theoretical scenario where Elder Scrolls 6 comes out and is a masterpiece. Do you think it's enough to save Bethesda's reputation, and what will happen to them if it's terrible? I mean, if let's just say hypothetically that it comes out and it's not monetized out the ass, it's just really polished and really technically magnificent and it's fun, the writing is stellar, like it just literally is a reversal of all of the trends of the last decade. If it's that, I think that does a ton to repair the reputation. I mean, we saw how important a Phantom Liberty can be for a studio that up till that point did not have a lot of positive media attention, but they put out something amazing that everybody loved, and that did a lot to show people we still got it, you know. But more likely, I think it'll just be Starfield 2.0.
Mr. Beard donated 36 Qatari Riyals and 99 dirhams through Super Chat.
Thank you.
I'm still trying to figure out how Red Dead Redemption 1 will be released on Netflix. The gaming world has been too confusing these days, Skull.
Basically, it's you can probably see it on your phone right now. If you go to the App Store, look up like TD Bloons. If you look up Bloons, like the game where you have the monkeys popping balloons, there's two versions. It is a normal version that's like $7, I think, and then another version that has Netflix written on it. And basically, if you have a Netflix membership, it's included in that. So you can play the game using your Netflix subscription. The other way that they do it is they want it within the app. So you can like stream the game through Netflix's app, so you never have to leave Netflix. They're just trying to find new ways to hook you so you don't cancel your membership ever. That's the idea. So, you know, you maybe for somebody that played Red Dead a decade ago, but hasn't touched gaming in 10, 15 years or whatever it's been, they see Red Dead 2's available. Maybe they pair a controller, they start playing it off of the Netflix app on their TV, having a great time. You know, Samsung TVs do it too. Yeah. I don't think it's that popular with console grade games, but I do know the number of people that are playing like Candy Crush ripoffs on Netflix and on their TV smart apps. It's bigger than you would think. It's like all of those 50, 60-year-old grandmas that are super bored. They're the ones doing it. So yeah, it is weird, but that's what it is. Okay. News Emmett. I'm going to be real, guys. I didn't know you could do this until I did some more research, and I found out it has happened before, but not usually for good reasons. Ubisoft announced, and I'm not joking, roughly 10 minutes before their earnings call, they announced a postponement of the results announcement that you can see here, November 13th. Ubisoft announces the postponement of the release of its results for the first half of fiscal year 25 to 26. Ubisoft has requested Euronext to halt trading of its shares and its bonds from the market open on November 14th, 2025 until the publication of the results in the coming days. Ubisoft will inform the market on the date on which trading will start. And this is kind of insane. It's a little crazy. I think partially because in the US, this is just not really a thing that ever happens. You can technically request that your stock be halted from trading. That happened with like the GameStop stuff, if you remember that, where there was a short squeeze and then a bunch of hedge funds and stuff requested that they halt trading on it because it was getting way out of hand and they were losing a lot of money. But in European markets and even Australian markets and stuff, this type of thing has happened before. It's just very, very weird because basically what was supposed to happen is November 13th, Ubisoft was supposed to get up on stage, have the executives explain how much money they made, how much money they lost, where they're going, what the direction for the company is, what their outlook is, how much money they expect to make next year, et cetera, et cetera. It's just the general communication with investors of what's going on. And it's normally like these are regulated things. This is not something that you can just like, we're good. Like you can't do that. Okay. You just can't. So for them to just announce 10 minutes before it was supposed to happen that they're just like, they're not going to do it is weird. It's weird. Like I said, it's happened before. On my tweet, I sent a follow-up where I did include an example. This was an example back in August. CTM delays earnings, suspends trading amid accounting fix. Corporate Travel Management, which is that company, delayed the release of its 2025 fiscal year results as it addressed an auditing issue with its financial reporting. And you can see that they say CTM said its auditors informed the company on August 22nd, in this case, 5 days before the announcement, that it might need to adjust the timing of when certain revenues and costs were recognized between the 2025 fiscal year and prior reporting periods. And they say the adjustment is isolated to the European region only. In their case, they say it's to increase prior year's earnings and reduce current year's earnings. And so in this case, it was like, because these big companies, people are like, oh no, they're audited. Every major company, like seriously, anybody that is dealing in the million range or hundreds of millions, certainly billions, they have what are called voluntary audits, where they have an auditing company come in and regularly audit their books to make sure there's not like accountants stealing money or stuff like that. So they have an outside firm review all of their books regularly, like once a quarter or twice a year. And in this case, they were reviewing that company's books and found an issue where they thought that maybe this money was being claimed here and it should have been claimed there because of European standards. So they delayed the earnings until later when they could fix it, get the books all in line with what is required by regulations. With this, there's no indication of what the cause is or why they're doing it. It's just an announcement that they're not going to be doing their earnings and they want their shares to be halted until they can share it. And the reason they requested the halting is because when you announce that you're not going to share your fiscal financial results, it's not something investors love. Okay, so what would likely be happening right now is the share price would just drop off a cliff because everybody's like, oh God, something's terribly wrong. But that brings us to the point of speculation, wild speculation. Okay, what does this actually mean? It could be a number of things. It could be that Ubisoft, just like that other company, had an audit being done and they determined that there was something messy because bear in mind, in the last few months, Ubisoft has started off Vantage Studios, which is a new entity that they own most of, but is not technically Ubisoft. And that separate entity now owns and manages its biggest IP like Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, Far Cry. And so for them, I'm sure dealing with that financial trickery is a mess. I don't know why you would need to delay it 10 minutes before the earnings call, though. That to me suggests that this came down to the literal wire, right? So here's my tinfoil hat speculation, okay? Okay, everybody, tinfoil hats on. Tinfoil hats on, okay? What does waiting till 10 minutes before suggest to me? It suggests to me like Ubisoft did not want to postpone earnings, but made the call right before because they didn't have a choice. Something forced their hands. This is not something you do willingly, right? What may have happened, and again, this is just speculation. I don't have any secret information. They're telling employees that it's just to adjust some stuff, blah, blah, blah. But what I think happened is that there's been debates and negotiations for the last year with Tencent, and there's another big player that's given Ubisoft a lot of money very recently, the Saudi Private Investment Fund that bankrolled the brand new Valley of Memories DLC for AC Mirage. That group is now also financially involved with Ubisoft. And I would not be shocked if there's been some discussion internally of taking Ubisoft private with the partnership of the Guillemot family, but basically either Tencent or the Saudi Private Investment Fund. I would personally suggest it's more of the Saudi Private Investment Fund that's doing it because Tencent is already involved and is already locked up. They signed several agreements that made it so they can't take on more shares until a certain date. And they signed that with the Guillemot family like a year and a half ago. So my sneaking suspicion is that the Saudi Private Investment Fund guys were telling Ubisoft, no, we can save your reporting because maybe they're going to announce liquidity issues. They don't have enough cash to pay their leases for the next year, whatever it may be, some major financial issue, which we know Ubisoft has been dealing with. And they've been relying on outside parties to come in and bankroll the fix, whether it's Tencent or the Saudi Private Investment Fund. And I think that probably the Saudi guys were like, hey, we can fix this for you, but we want X, Y, and Z in exchange for bailing you out of this problem. And Ubisoft was trying to play hardball. Maybe they're saying Guillemot family has to leave. You guys have screwed this up. You need to go. And the Guillemot family is like, no, we're not going to do that. This is our company. We're not leaving. And so the Saudis called their bluff. And the Ubisoft guys were like waiting until the last possible second, until 10 minutes before the earnings call, and said, screw it, postpone earnings, we'll negotiate, because whatever they were going to share in this could be very problematic. Because basically I'm suspicious and I'm thinking that maybe it's that they have liquidity issues, meaning they don't have enough like cash on hand for the 20,000 employees they have. And so they were relying on a cash influx from the Saudis or from Tencent. Either one of those or both were playing hardball and saying, nope, we're not bailing you out again until we get what we want here. Ubisoft tried to call their bluff. They called Ubisoft's bluff. They canceled the earnings, and right now they're negotiating and finalizing the deal for whatever is going to happen. Whether that is a buyout, whether that is taking the company private, similar to what just happened with EA or is about to happen with EA. But that's my sneaking suspicion, is that this was a moment where Ubisoft execs were trying to call the bluff of the people that they were working with for a quick cash infusion. And they didn't realize that their bluff was also being called. And so this is what they're doing. So my guess is in the next few days, they will do an earnings announcement. They will resume trading of shares, probably, unless there's like an immediate buyout or something. But I think when they come back, the announcement is going to be probably that the company's being taken private in partnership with the Saudi Private Investment Fund. That's my expectation. What do you think? What do you think? I can't think of another reason why something like this would need to happen, because this is so weird and so severe. It's a big deal, frankly. It's a big deal. It should not be taken lightly, for sure. The other piece of speculation, which is much less exciting, is that it might have something to do with the Far Cry 7 leaks that happened the day before. So they basically had a bunch of stuff leak about Far Cry 7 right before this would have happened, and so maybe they postponed earnings to be able to go and answer this. That to me is seeming less and less likely, because even if like all the leaks are true, they could just come on the earnings call and be like, yeah, we're not going to address leaked information. Done. Like, you don't really need to delay your earnings, that is like code red last resort. You know, that's like last resort. So it makes me think that there's something bigger happening. But time will tell. They only say it'll be in the coming days. So, I mean, today's Friday and it hasn't happened yet. So I'm guessing top of next week, they're going to be negotiating through the weekend or something. That's my guess. But that's my
donated 50
prediction.
Saudi Riyals through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Hey Luke, I'm not your father, but I'm proud of the man you've become.
Aw.
Thanks for all your hard work and for making me a smarter, more skeptical man. P.S. Get the missus a coffee on me.
Will do, my friend. Thank you very, very much for your kind words. Appreciate you. And she definitely will take you up on that. Just last night, I got a call. I was about to film a video, but I got a call, and she's like, so I ran over like a big, like, you know, those carabiner hooks kind of things. It was in the street. And so she ran over it, and it popped the back right tire on her car. And it went from like full up tire to less than 2 psi in the span of like 45 seconds. Like, gone. Tire destroyed. And thankfully she was like in a neighborhood still. She wasn't like on the street or highway or something, God forbid. So she just pulled over on the side of the street, and I was able to hop in the other car and go pick her and the kids up. But yeah, she had a long day. How sharp was that thing? Dude, it literally... I wonder... Can I find a picture? It was kind of like... Where is it? There's got to be one of these that looks just like it. I mean, it was like one of these, but without the little middle piece, like that had snapped off. But like all of this was in the tire. I don't know how that happens. She must have hit it at the perfect angle, and it was like jammed in part of the sidewalk or something. I don't know. But dude, this thing messed up that tire. So we had to go get it towed, and right now it's at the shop and they're putting new tires on it. But that's just what you have to do. But she will take you up on the coffee, my friend. She will, for sure. Thankfully, I'm very thankful we have 2 cars. It would have been a lot more difficult to figure out what to do if we didn't have 2 cars. So I'm very thankful for that. Because I was able to, we have some travel car seats that we use when we go on airplanes and stuff with the kids. And so I was able to throw those in the second car and go pick up the kids, and it was fine. But it was a whole thing. Change tire. This particular car, we don't have a spare on it. And it was so wrecked. The guy at the tire shop called me first thing this morning. He was like, yeah, so it's destroyed, and it's an all-wheel drive car. So he's like, the tread, you're at like 30,000 miles, I think it was, on the tires. He's like, so the tread's pretty offset, so it's going to put a lot of strain on the differential if you put one new tire on and you don't replace at least the back 2. So he's like, I'd recommend doing the back 2. I was already going to swap out tires for the weather stuff, but for winter. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's part of life. It happens. Yeah, and I will say that I did try winter tires, like snow tires, for the first time. And dude, it's night and day. In Colorado, we have such light, powdery, dry snow. There's like no grip, and it's super slippery. Once you try winter like snow tires, it's night and day, dude. You're gonna be like, oh geez, how did I go without these for so long? It's crazy. Anyway, let's talk about this. Let's do this. Let's see. Colin, also thank you for the 5. What's your opinion on Red Dead coming to mobile now? I mean, I think it's a slam dunk. I mean, I'll probably get it on my phone. Why not? I mean, that's great. I hope they give a little more love and attention to Red Dead 2 personally, but I'm happy if they are willing to do that. Yeah, as a person from Norway, yeah, winter tires make a huge difference. Yeah, you wouldn't think it does, but dude, it does. It does. It really does. Highly recommend it if people are driving in snowy conditions. Okay, let's look at this. News, Emmett. Everyone, the day has come. The day has come. One of the 2 big Horizon spin-off projects has been revealed. This particular one is being headed up by NCSoft, so it is not the Guerrilla Games one. But this is the game that is targeting China and like the Eastern markets primarily. But it is being developed primarily for mobile, but it will be on mobile and PC, not on PlayStation. So what we're about to see is a Horizon game that is not available on PlayStation, period. You cannot play it on a PlayStation. And it low-key looks kind of good, okay? Check this out. Check this out. This is, what you're about to see is a mobile game.
Horizon game has been
I should clarify. This is the roundup video of a bunch of different clips from IGN, because once again, this is targeting mainly China and Korea and Japan. And so most of the marketing has been put over there. You probably won't see or hear a lot about this in the States, at least not at first. But that's why they collected all the random clips and promotions and put it together here. And we're going to check it out.
been announced, but it's not the sequel to Forbidden West that you may have been expecting. It's not a single-player game, nor is it even a PlayStation game. Horizon Steel Frontiers is an MMORPG developed by NCSoft for mobile and PC. Confused? Don't worry, because we're here to break down everything revealed in the debut trailer. If the idea of an online multiplayer Horizon game sounds familiar, then you've likely been paying attention to the rumors that began as far back as 2022. At first glance, it's clear that this is very much a Horizon game you can play with a team of co-op buddies. The world looks very similar to what we've explored before. However, this time we'll be headed to the Deadlands, a brand new region inspired by Arizona and New Mexico. Within that world are plenty of recognizable elements, from destroyed remains of humanity's past to the real stars of Horizon, its giant mechanical beasts. But
This is all, again, a mobile game. Like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Let me see if I can get the raw. The raw. Yeah, here. Pre-alpha footage, cross-platform, mobile and PC. To be clear, this is on their Purple platform and it's not going to be on Steam. But this has, I mean, this is a mobile game. I'm sure this is the PC version of it, but like, it's a mobile game. It just straight up looks like Horizon, but weirdly, it looks kind of better in some ways. Like, that grapple hook swing was crazy. Like, look how much faster and more fluid that is. But like, here's the weird thing, okay? This is supposedly a game that is meant to be wholly independent from what Guerrilla Games is working on. And a major point of concern that's been mentioned a few times is that they don't want these games to cannibalize each other, okay? So they want you to be able to play this one, Steel Frontiers, and also and also they want you to be able to go and play the Guerrilla Games one on console. And that's probably why they don't have a PS5 version of this game being developed, because they don't want it to cannibalize the other Guerrilla Games one that they're putting out. The Guerrilla Games, whatever it's going to be called, is expected to be also a co-op game where you play with your friends, The leaked art suggested around maybe parties of up to 5 players, but that's of course just based on artwork, so it could very much change. It also is expected to have a more cartoony Fortnite / Sea of Thieves art style, but that's not been confirmed. But it's expected to distinguish itself from the base games in that way. I will say that this looks very much like Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. Maybe not quite as high fidelity, especially with like the skin tones and stuff like that. But it does, I mean, this is not a bad looking game. It really is not a bad looking game at all. I'd even say it looks very good, especially considering this is a mobile freaking game. But they're going to try to distinguish these games probably a lot more in the art style than I originally thought. Seeing how much this looks like the base games makes me think that the Guerrilla Games one is going to look significantly different, because I think the big thing they want is they want it to feel separate. They do not want the games cannibalizing each other. They want them both to excel in their own ways, and distinguish them visually is going to help with that. But you can certainly see the MMORPG inspirations here. It's just wild and crazy, but this is what they've been working on. And interesting, if you remember Light of Motirum, which is that other Tencent kind of ripoff, Light of Motirum gameplay. Reveal trailer's fine. This was developed by Tencent, and allegedly this was originally going to be their pitch for a Horizon online live service game. They worked on it, built it out, allegedly pitched it to Sony as like, look, we basically already made a Horizon game. You just have to give us the thumbs up and we're good to go. And Sony said, no, we already have 2 online games we're working on with NCSoft, the one you just saw, and with Guerrilla, which still hasn't been announced yet. And so at that point, they're like, oh, well, shoot. So the allegation from Sony in their filings is that this literally was a Horizon game that was then reskinned lightly after that because they said no, which is really, really funny. Because it kind of reaffirms that, yeah, no, I mean, it looks like Horizon because it was literally supposed to be Horizon. But this is unapologetically Horizon. In some ways, I think it looks better, at least in terms of like movement and combat. This is more interesting to me than like a lot of what Horizon had to offer. For me, the bow and arrow stuff and the slings, and it's just, I don't like aiming with controllers if I can help it. I'm a mouse and keyboard player all day, every day. So it's always been not my favorite to have combat so reliant on the right analog stick. But this being much more melee focused, at least this particular character and build that they're using, this is much more my style and much more my speed. Very Monster Hunter-esque, is it not? Very Monster Hunter-esque. And again, this is a mobile game. I can't stress that enough, how insane this is. It's crazy. But it's the same thing with like Where Winds Meet. That also is a game that is so scalable, it works on mobile. Oh, this is the video I did like 2 months ago on Where Winds Meet. Like, this is a mobile game that also has like Soulsborne level boss fights and stuff. It even supports seamless co-op and stuff. It's crazy. It's like actually crazy. And it's so scalable that it even works on mobile, which is outrageous. It's outrageous. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, I didn't know this. Fun fact, in Where Winds Meet, when you log off the game, your character actually becomes an NPC playing the co-op that other people can see. Who knew? I didn't know that. That's cool. So a lot of these, again, Eastern developers, I think are going to start coming out swinging with games like this that just make it look like other devs aren't even trying. And it's crazy. The scalability that they're developing these with is absolutely wild. But there's a new Horizon game in town. Herman's giddy. Jor is jumping up and down for joy. I think it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So we'll see how successful that is. I'm sure it's going to pop off, especially in Eastern markets. Like I said, the marketing focus right now is primarily in Eastern markets, but that may shift and change as time goes on. And if they see a lot of interest in Western markets, they might put some more effort into the Eastern or into porting it and supporting it over here. But the goal is definitely to target those audiences in like China, which are much more historically interested in this type of thing. So we'll see how this goes, but seems very interesting. Now I am just so giddy to see what Guerrilla's been working on, because it needs to look and play quite differently than that. Otherwise, everybody will just play that, right? So it's got to be significantly different. And I feel like this is a pretty honorable and pretty faithful recreation of the Horizon formula, which makes me think that they're going to have to do a pretty major departure. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I swear to God, if it just looks like Sea of Thieves mixed with Fortnite, we will have a field day. But we'll see. I've sufficiently made Jor nervous about it, which I find funny, but I've gotten Jor to the point where he's a little nervous about it. So we'll see how that plays out. Okay. Let's talk about, this. I wanted to look up this. Games browse. Okay. I think this one will sell better than Guerrilla's. I mean, in terms of revenue, the mobile games just have like endless ceilings. They just make so much freaking money. I don't know if they've said it's going to be gacha or if it's going to be like how they're going to do it, but yeah, I think it's going to be a big money maker for sure. Kriegsters, thank you for the 2 as well. Bro, is that a chubby version of Luke Stevens? It's just Luke. It's just me. Let's see. Okay. And Vipus, also thank you for the sub with Prime over there. Appreciate you. Is this live on YouTube? Yeah, we co-stream everything. You better believe it. Did you see Concord's playable again? Yes, partially because I'm in those secret Discord servers with a secret account. So yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. Honest question. News Evan. Honest question. Are any of you guys playing or have you played the Call of Duty campaign? Because I gotta know. I saw this clip on Twitter and I did not think this was real, but it is. This is from the Call of Duty Black Ops 7 campaign, where you are killing Harper in a team of 4 in this like nightmare dream realm. And this is real. Apparently there's also a mission where you go and team up with zombies.
Those machine guns will cut right through us! Look! The prisoners are pushing the minecarts! Use the mine parts for cover and push up! We're almost there! Keep pushing forward! Focus fire on that diesel!
Apparently it is real. Apparently this is real. Amar, I miss when Call of Duty, I miss old Call of Duty. This used to be a game about war. Claim our victory! It's a little different now. Where are the zombies?
You can make it, my friend. You always survive. The honor should be yours. as long as you live. The heart of this army can never be broken.
Things will change, my friend. As heroes, we will return to Russia's...
Thank God they ended up adding zombies, man. Because who wants that when you could have this?
Those machine guns will cut right through us.
Or this.
Keep clear of the shockwave.
So that's the campaign, okay? What's crazy? You want to know what's crazy? All of this discourse around Black Ops 7. I mean, there's the standard stupid stuff, okay? There's the standard stupid stuff that we should just expect from Activision and Call of Duty, such as the fact that the Black Ops 7 campaign can't be paused during single player. It can't be paused. And it requires an online internet connection at all times. The game's single player offering also lacks checkpoints. They didn't put checkpoints in the game. Players have discovered that the game's single player portion can't be paused even if there's only one person playing. It's one of the many unusual decisions, that's a nice way to put it, including that the game's single player missions don't have checkpoints, meaning any progress made during the mission is lost unless the mission is completed in one sitting. What complicates this further is that Call of Duty Black Ops 7 requires a constant online connection when playing the single player campaign, meaning if your internet drops for any reason, all progress on your current mission will be lost. They said, quote, in Black Ops 7, you can go solo or squad up with up to 3 other players in this innovative co-op campaign that redefines the Black Ops experience, Activision said at the time of the campaign's announcement. This is a story that developers at Treyarch and Raven have been building together, designed to deepen the Black Ops universe. It adds, one overriding goal with the story of Black Ops 7 was to tell a story that could stand on its own while honoring the legacy of the series. Throughout development, there were meaningful opportunities, allowing the reconnection of characters and storylines from earlier Black Ops titles, bringing them into this near future setting with their presence could elevate the experience. You want to know what's crazy though with all this? You want to know what's crazy? We've been talking about Arc Raiders. And the narrative has been like, what is Arc Raiders gonna finally put a nail in the coffin of Marathon, for example? How's this gonna impact Tarkov, you know, or Escape from Duckov, or any of those? That's been the point of discussion. Right now, I literally just pulled it up. Right now, on Twitch, there are more players or more viewers for Arc Raiders at 164,000 than there are for the brand new Call of Duty game. 142 to 164. Arc Raiders is outperforming Call of Duty. What? That's crazy. That's crazy. And I think that, you know, we could also look at others, like, for example, Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6, in terms of viewership, yes, it has fallen off because most people have moved over to Arc Raiders, big streamers at least. So Battlefield 6, in terms of viewers, is not really going head to head with brand new Call of Duty. We'll see where they settle out in like a month or two. But certainly Arc Raiders being the one to come in and like at least put Call of Duty in check a little bit. It's still doing well. 142K is no slouch. I mean, that's a number many games would kill to see on Twitch. But the fact that Arc Raiders and a lot of these people are not being paid to play the game, they're just playing it because they love it. Like Ninja is playing it, Shroud is still playing it, Lyric. It's crazy. Crazy, but it's because like the game just genuinely is that good. And you know, I don't like just jumping on the bandwagon of like COD's dead, COD sucks, but like fam, like I get it's Black Ops, but it's also Call of Duty. And this, like, growing up, Call of Duty was a badass game about war. It was about like serious topics. It was about well, just war period, but it's about human misery and triumph over evil. And it was a game that tackled some heavy topics and stuff. And now I think the most telling thing is that Call of Duty has just lost all sense of tone. You know, it's just completely lost its sense of identity. And I know some people like Black Ops specifically. They like zombies. They like that stuff. That's totally fine. But I think it's pretty clear right now at this moment, this is not what players are looking for. The success of Battlefield shows players are kind of looking for something a little bit more grounded. Zombies can be fun, but also trying to tie it into the main campaign is just a bold choice, because it just this implementation isn't that thrilling, especially when you see like the later section where they're just standing around.
Tower Dragon donated
know?
$10 through Super Chat. At this point, Call of Duty is like Madden. Every year they release it with minimal updates and call it a completely new game. This is what gamers are getting tired of at this point.
Yeah, well, I think the key for Call of Duty, thank you for the 10, very generous, thank you. But I think the key for Call of Duty has been that there just hasn't really been an alternative for a lot of these more casual players, for a lot of these players that are looking for something to play when they get home from work and they can hop on with their buddies. And Call of Duty has been like the only real thing for 5 years or so that they can sink their teeth into, because I mean, there just hasn't really been that much competition. I mean, yeah, you can play Concord, but is Concord really going to do it? Marvel Rivals came and offered a good amount of competition, but it's got its own set of problems with its matchmaking system, which lots of players find very frustrating. But overall, like, I think there just hasn't been a lot of alternatives, and there hasn't been much exciting. Helldivers was probably the last time that there was a really exciting, different thing, but it also came out in February, when Call of Duty usually is dominating like the November time slot going into December and January. And but this year we've had Arc Raiders come out and compete head to head, and we're seeing it be pretty successful.
Mr. Beard donated 74 Qatari Riyals and 99 dirhams through Super Chat. COD player here. Activision literally could have gone with the generic CIA, FBI story, but no, they decided to risk it all on this? Are they stupid? At this point,
are they? I think Activision are purposely trying to sabotage themselves. No, I can put myself in the conference room when they made these decisions to do all of this and to go with like super psychedelic, crazy, wacky. Because they're looking on Reddit, they're looking on Twitter, they're looking on their Discord servers, and they're seeing people complain about a lack of risk taking, which is what a lot of people complain about. They're like, the campaigns are all the same. Or not campaigns, the games are all the same. The multiplayer maps are just rehashes of the same ones we played for 15 years. There's just not a lot of risk. The biggest risk you're taking is implementing like a Beavis and Butthead skin and a Nicki Minaj skin. Like, there's just no risks being taken. There's nothing fresh or new. So they came out and they said, let's do something wacky and crazy. And this is what they came up with. But I think it's just they went the wrong direction. Like, they had the option... They're like on the road, and there's an exit to the left and there's an exit to the right, and they could just keep going down the road straight the way they've been going and be fine. But they were like, okay, everybody's complaining that we're not taking turns, we're not doing big moves, so they decided to take the wheel and jerk it super hard to the right, and they went pretty far down that road, as we can see, but it was the wrong way. They should have turned left. And I think that that's kind of where they've landed. They took a bold step trying to do this. I just don't think it's what players wanted. And the difficulty is that, you know, they would have been deciding this like 3 years ago, probably 2-3 years ago. And so, you know, at the time, maybe this made more sense. But right now, I think Arc Raiders and a lot of the other you know, games like Helldivers are showing that people are just looking for something fresh and different, and they don't want same old. And, you know, this just happened to be a pivot in the wrong direction. So yeah, they need a KFC crossover. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. The narrative was weak, but Modern Warfare 2 actually had a very fun campaign and offered a lot of variety in gunplay. I mean, to be fair to Call of Duty, the campaign has not been a deciding factor for Call of Duty for a very long time. People are playing these games and are playing these games based on the multiplayer offerings overwhelmingly. And so let's not pretend as though like the campaign being kind of lackluster is going to have some quantifiable impact on long-term engagement. That's not been the deciding factor for some time, but I think it is an indication of the direction that they're going. You know, there are different teams working on COD every year. Past COD campaigns have been all right, but this one is clearly not the A team. Well, they do cycle around. This one, they said that they built it in collaboration between Treyarch and Raven, so they put two of the top teams on. But yeah, I just think it's most of these problems are just directorial decisions that just don't click. And again, the going back to like the most bare bones basic decisions and quality of life decisions, like not being able to pause the campaign. That is just a blatant anti-consumer offering. They're doing that to try and keep you playing in one sitting. They don't want you to turn off the game, so you can't pause it. You can't get up and go do something else. They want to increase playtime and engagement time per session, so that's how they're doing it. The always online requirement, that's again another thing where they want to be able to serve you ads. They want to be able to constantly update the game. They want to be able to do things like prevent piracy as best they can, and that's what they're doing there. It's just bad. Like to their credit, they made some decisions and shifts and changes in reaction to Battlefield 6. And I'm sure they're going to make even further, adjustments, especially if they start to feel the heat. But this is why competition is so important. If they don't feel the heat, if they don't feel the need to try, they just won't. They'll just do the same old. Like, you remember how with Overwatch 2, there was literally nothing for like 2 years, except maybe a new character every 3 or 4 months. And that was it. And the Marvel Rivals comes along and is like pretty impressive in terms of the roadmap, the offering, the steady drop of content. And all of a sudden, Blizzard starts pumping out content for Overwatch 2, making major changes, making heroes free and available to everybody at launch. It's crazy. It's almost like they were always capable of it, but they just didn't care. And I think that's the key. They just didn't care. So props to Embark for having a game that's popping off so much that they are out competing Call of Duty even right now. And we'll see how long that lasts and how it settles. They're at 141. Now they're at 145. So we'll see how it goes throughout the day, but the fact that they're even close to each other is pretty impressive. I mean, that's pretty crazy, because I don't think anybody would have expected it. Not to mention Dispatch on Steam peaked at 220,000 concurrent players. That is wild. That a choose your own adventure superhero workplace comedy could generate that level of engagement. It's crazy. It's almost enough to reinstate some faith in the industry, to get you excited, because it shows that like players are just kind of done with it. And I think that this is one thing, and I'll wrap up with this. This is one thing that I feel a lot of games analysts and industry analysts don't appreciate. The games industry matures regularly. So if there's a huge population of like teenagers or young adults who are playing a certain type of game, like a Fortnite, that doesn't mean they will always only ever play Fortnite. What almost always happens is that they eventually literally grow up and they start looking for something else. Maybe that's more mature, something that's more challenging. Like they look for something else. They mature out of that game into something else. And I think that is not often given enough credit, because you remember back in like 2013, 14, all of the discourse was how consoles were dead, PC gaming was dead, everything was going to be mobile. Everything was moving towards mobile. Everything is going to be on your mobile device, because everybody has mobile devices. You all have phones, don't you? But as we know now, a lot of people, sure, they might play mobile games, but a lot of them are like, I want something a little more meaty. I want to go get Dispatch. I want to play Dispatch, or I want to go play a game like Arc Raiders. So I'm going to get a gaming PC for that. They grew up, they matured, and they went to something else. And I feel like that's just not given enough credit. Personally. Did I see the new Bloomberg article? No. What is the new Bloomberg article? Dude, okay. I just said I was getting a little bit of faith in humanity. Then I just saw this when I pulled up Bloomberg. Apple's $230 iPhone pouch is already sold out. It is a cloth pouch you put your phone in for $230. And it's sold out. I'm gonna cope and say that I'm hoping they only manufacture like 50 of them, knowing nobody would buy it, but I'm sure that these things are flying off the shelves.
Vendor
like
the Offender donated
Labubus or whatever
$10 through
crap.
Super Chat. With so many good and varied games this year, GOTY is gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be very competitive, but it's going to be one of those years where we have to be gracious, and we just have to be like, you know what? If Expedition 33 wins it, good for them. If KCD2 wins it, good for them. Like, fair. You know, if a Dispatch wins it, fair. If Split Fiction wins it, fair. Because there just honestly were that many great games. And it's okay just because they don't want to, like, most of the games nominated will not win, right? Like, literally, most of them will not win. And so, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. You know, there can be only one winner at the end of the day. And hopefully we can still celebrate all those other games. And even if, like, you know, if an Expedition 33 doesn't win Game of the Year, hopefully it wins Best Music or Best Narrative or Best RPG, or vice versa with like KCD2. If it doesn't win Game of the Year, maybe it wins Best RPG. That's why there's a lot of awards, you know. So we just have to avoid the impulse to be like, screw this, the awards are rigged. I will say if Death Stranding 2 beats out everything, I will probably be saying that, but I don't think that that's the case. Wilfredo, thank you for the 2. Tim Cook needs to go. There was a report not that long ago that he was starting to kind of lay out a succession plan. They were planning on finding whoever's going to replace him, which I think it's about time.
Mr. Beard donated 36 Qatari Rials and 99 dirhams through Super Chat.
Thank you.
I mean, if I was Activision, then I won't make any risks, especially since Battlefield is here. There's no need to upset the fans, who are already angry at your previous decisions, by the way.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends on what you mean by risks, right, Mr. Beard? Like, for them, I think they viewed putting a gigantic monster dude in a dream realm as a risk. But I think what players mean by risk is like, don't over monetize the entire freaking thing. Have some faith that if you have a good game, that the players will support it. You know, take time to polish the game. Take that risk of giving up a little bit of money to make sure the game runs really well. You know, that's what I think gamers are talking about. It's like literally do anything in the favor of the fans, but instead it's just all very, very much focused on what's like the most non-scary risk that we could take, you know? Yeah. Since you're a miniature gamer, are you playing Tabletop Game Shop Simulator? I am not. I didn't know there was a thing like that. Tabletop Game Shop Simulator. What is this? That's cute. Dude, these simulator games go hard. What's like a late game look like? That's very cute. I've not played it, but that's very cute. That's fun. Yeah. That's very cute. Oh, they even have a demo. That's cool. That's cool. We have our first session of D&D, our brand new campaign. So we're going to try that tonight. It's a big moment. Big moment. Let's see. Killer Chronicles, thank you for the 5. Are the target audiences for COD and GTA aging out? We are in our 30s and 40s now. I think some of them are at the very least, they're maturing to the point where they're not connecting with some of the other choices that are made. Like, let's be honest, the American Dad crossovers, the Family Guy crossovers, Family Guy, COD, or like these. Yeah, this freaking thing. This, I think, is targeting the Fortnite crowd. Like, this is targeting the young, maybe late teens, early 20s type gamer who grew up playing a lot of Fortnite, and now they're looking to get into something more hardcore like Call of Duty. But they like are expecting customizable skins, and they can get these for Call of Duty, and they like it. I still think it's a very, very vocal or very spendy minority that are buying these, but it's the whales. It's the people that are buying like every single one of these skins that they're doing this for. I'd say 95, 90, probably more than 95, like 98% of players are not buying any of these types of skins. It's just not interesting to them. But the whales are buying everything. Everything. So I do think some gamers are aging out of it. Like if you're 30 or 40 and you're in a lobby and you remember old school Call of Duty, like back in the day when the servers were toxic as hell, and like the good old days when it was just about a bunch of people at war fighting and killing each other. Like that's just what Call of Duty used to be. And then you're playing this. I do think there's a good number of players who eventually go, and move on, and they'll go play Tarkov or Arc Raiders or something, especially with like the movement turning really twitchy and they're trying to appeal to a younger, more energetic crowd. I do think a lot of those gamers fall off and shift off and go play something else. The problem for years was that there wasn't really a lot of alternatives, not just that would appeal to one person, but you got to remember a lot of people play these games socially. They're playing it with their friends and their buddies. And so you can't just make a game that appeals to one of them. You have to have a game that appeals to all of them to get the whole party to give up on the game and go move over and try this new thing. And I think that's what Arc Raiders was very successful at, is that it's good enough and it's varied enough and approachable enough that people are willing to pull their whole parties over and play it. And it's done very well as a result of that.
Eric Branke donated $9.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Speaking of D&D, any advice for a first-time DM? I've been playing for 10 years, but I'll be DMing a group of newer players in a few weeks.
Ooh.
Would you roll a pre-made adventure or full send a home?
A full send a homebrew. It depends on your players and what type of players they are. Some players are very combat oriented, others are very narrative focused. So it just depends on what they like. The other aspect is what you like and what you're capable of. If you're a good writer, go homebrew, like make something yourself. You can set it like in the D&D universe, of course, but like do something craft something yourself. As for running a pre-written adventure, that can be very, very easy. It's just tricky because like you have to read those books and you have to know them front and back. So there's a lot of homework with that. Whereas when you write it yourself, you can kind of like BS and figure it out. And do it that way. So it's very doable. But I'd encourage you to just think about what your talents and strengths are. If you're a good writer, embrace that. If you are not that into writing, but maybe you really like running combat, maybe run something pre-made. But as for advice for a new DM, number one, do not give players anything and everything they want. They will ask for stuff, and if you give an inch, they will take a mile. Okay? You may have the impulse of like, I have to give them a piece of candy at the end of every session to keep them interested and engaging. Don't do that. Don't do that. The moment you start giving them a lot of stuff, it all goes to hell. Okay? One dude, because I had one player, main character syndrome. Okay? Like main character syndrome. I early on in my first few sessions, like DMing for people, I was like, oh, I'll have a little reward at the end of every task. Okay. And so I was like, each quest will basically have a reward, like a little piece of loot or a little something, like a ring that gives them a little stat boost or whatever, or a resistance to something. This player who struggles with main character syndrome, I did not realize that he was going and basically like strong arming other people in the party to give him and his character the stuff they got as rewards. So by session 6 or 7, he had all of these buffs and perks, and he was effectively playing like 5 levels above what he should have been and the rest of the party, which made him extremely powerful, and it made it so he could very quickly kill enemies, but everybody else was just playing second fiddle, and it just started to break, and it just didn't work. You can say no to his requests. Well, that's what I would do to him, but then he would go and like another player would get a piece of candy, and then he would do something where like he'd either approach it narratively or he would give them something else for their character and for the story to get that other piece of loot. It's just a loot goblin through and through, you know? I also caught him cheating on rolls numerous times. If you ever have a player that is cheating and faking rolls at a friendly D&D game, like he may not be the best fit. Okay. Like, cause like literally what he would do is he'd like roll the dice and I'd see him as like, we're in combat and we're going around the table. Right. And he's like 2 players away and he would roll, then he'd roll again, then he'd take damage dice and roll the damage dice and roll it a few times, and then when it got to his turn, he's like, yeah. And then I attack and I got a 19 to hit, and then I got a critical, and then this is my damage.
Mr. Beard donated 36
I can see you,
Qatari
dude.
Rials and 99 dirhams through Super Chat. Am I delusional to think that Ghost of Yote has a slight chance of winning the Game of the Year? I mean, the game is great.
I think it's great. It's just not. I think there's an excitement factor, and Ghost of Yote is great, but it's just not as exciting as something fresh and new. Like Expedition 33, I think really excited people because it was just fresh. You know, new IP, new studio, different kind of game than what a lot of people had ever played before. And just really, really exciting. And I think Ghost of Yote just kind of fell flat for some people, not because it was bad. It was very good, but it just wasn't captivating in the same way the first game was, you know? Oh, dude, I have something I did to try and keep that player in line, though. That's funny.
Francisco the Disco
And
donated
I've told him all
$10
this. He knows
through
all of
Super
this.
Chat.
I've made fun
As
of him
big
for
as
it.
Elder Scrolls is,
It's not a secret.
no studio seems to be interested in trying to replicate it like the Souls genre. Open world fantasy RPG with good combat, character creator, and mod support?
I think there's been attempts by some. It just came out earlier this year. You guys, somebody's gonna say it. There was an open world fantasy RPG game. Tainted Grail? Yeah, Tainted Grail is an example of one that is made in the format of like a Skyrim, and it actually does a really good job of it. I think the reason why it's not that common is because they're expensive to make nowadays. They're very big games and complicated, which is tricky to get working. And I think also Bethesda, they made games of the time, and I think they rely a lot on that reputation. So like if Skyrim were to release today without any sort of baggage or any sort of like name recognition, it's just a totally new IP, new thing, but like modernize the graphics, I don't think it would be received anywhere near as well as Skyrim was, because it was a game of its time. But if you released that game back in 2011 or 2010, it would blow up, be tremendously successful. I just think the key is that they're games of their time. And it may be that Bethesda quote unquote games just aren't as compelling as they used to be, you know? And I think maybe Starfield is a great example of that, where maybe that formula just isn't as exciting as it once was, you know? The Tom, thank you for 5 gifted memberships. Golly, very generous. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thoughts on the MJ movie? Oh, I saw the trailer for the Michael Jackson movie. I don't know. I'm probably not watching it, frankly. But yeah, after I watched Leaving Neverland, frankly, whole thing kind of bums me out. gonna be real. Yeah, I watched Leaving Neverland, and I give all that a thumbs down. It was a real bummer. I'll tell you what, it's hard to like feel the magic after that. Tell you what. It's crazy. Oh man. Let's see. Did I get that? I did get that one. Oh, but yeah, that player, just to finish this off before I forget. Once I realized, and like other players started mentioning, because I could see that he was faking dice rolls, but once other players started bringing it up, and they're like, he's like definitely cheating with his rolls. I called him out one time and I was like, no, you can't pre-roll. You have to roll now. Now that it's your turn, you roll. And I put a little dice tray in front of everybody and I was like, roll your dice in the tray. He got really grumpy. And I was like, if you weren't lying, why would you feel bad about needing to roll where everybody can see you? That's weird. And so at one point I came up with an idea of an item called a ring of strict adherence. And it was literally like, it was this item, because again, he's a loot goblin. So I was like, what if I keep him in check with loot? So I gave him like +1 strength or +2 strength or something. But because it was the ring of strict adherence, if he knowingly or unknowingly did something that was not in adherence to the rules of D&D 5e, he would gain a level of exhaustion that would stack and would only wear off after like a week in game. And I could see just in his head, like, how many fake rolls could I do? Because it was not just rolls, it was also like rules themselves, where it was like, this ability has a range of 15 feet, but he would use it from across a football field, or like this thing can't be used in this particular context for whatever reason, but he would just conveniently not read that part of the rule when describing what a spell is for. And so it ended up working okay. He still would BS and still would fake rolls, and it was a whole thing. But it made it to the point where like it kind of spoiled a lot of the fun for people, because for every like main character, it dominates the game and takes away fun from everybody else, you know? Because for him to have fun, he had to be the one killing the guys. He had to be the one doing the most damage. He had to be the one getting the best loot. And that means that everybody else wasn't doing those things. And so it was not a victimless crime, you know. It's one thing if you're in combat and you're like, oh, it's a 19, but it was actually 16. Like then, you know, I'll roll my eyes and I might make fun of you a little bit, but like that's not the end of the world. But with this, like it was such a consistent thing where it was making other people at the table's game worse. They were having a worse time because it was always just how that person
Mr. Beard donated
is the center of attention, you know.
Qatari Riyals and 99 dirhams through Super Chat.
Thank you.
I think the most underrated game this year is Mafia Old Country. The game is good and it only cost $50 instead of the usual $70.
Yeah, I like I really like Mafia the Old Country. I'm still perturbed about the ending, but I do think for $50 it deserves some credit. I think it'll hopefully be nominated for like best narrative or something. I'm not sure if it should win compared to some of the competition. But I do think it deserves at least maybe a little bit of recognition, a little bit of love. As for what's another, I guess maybe in chat, everybody in chat, what is a game you feel did not get enough credit this year? What is a game that didn't get enough love? I think one that I just played that is very good, and I do recommend to people who like games like Disco Elysium, is Rue Valley. Just played it. Time loop game, very Disco Elysium-esque. And it's very, very well executed. It's very well done. And the art style's great. The music's really good. The voice acting's really good. It's very clever. It's a very unique game. So I'd recommend you check this out. Also published by Owlcat Games, the guys behind like Rogue Trader, The Expanse game, like pretty hardcore RPG players. Or RPG developers. Split Fiction came and went. Yeah, Split Fiction, to be fair, it did get a lot of recognition. It just, like you said, came and went. I think it got overrun by some of the other games that came out right after it. I'm gonna buy this now. Actually, you should. Like literally, Rue Valley is very good. Let's see. Yote. I was expecting to see more Death Stranding 2, because that's also one that just disappeared. Okay, Lasha did say Death Stranding 2. Indiana Jones, I guess technically that's in this year's consideration for Game of the Year because it launched in December of last year. So technically it's this cycle or whatever. Yeah, I think technically. First Berserker Kazan, that is a very good game. That's a good one. Jay Ratifier, that's good. That's good. Yeah. First Berserker Kazan was very good. Blueprints did get a lot of accolades though. It did review really, really well. Yeah. Why would you continue playing with this person? Well, this person I've known for a very long time. Love him to death. It's just, you know, some activities bring out like the worst aspects of some people, or like brings out traits in them that are not great. Like I cannot play Monopoly with my in-law, my father-in-law. He gets grumpy. Like he gets mad grumpy. Like low key, he takes it so personally. If he's like, I want to buy Boardwalk, and you're like, no, I'm not buying Boardwalk. No, I want it. I'm keeping it. And he will be like so personally offended by that. It's very funny, and he knows it's funny. He's like, I can't help it. I just want to scream. Like it's very funny. But like that's one thing where we just accept it. Okay, maybe we don't play Monopoly with him. It's just we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. And I think with this particular player, it was one of those things where I was like, I think it's bad for our relationship to try and play D&D together, because it's just this person's too try hard, you know, too focused on winning and being like the best player in the party. And it's like, you just can't think of it that way. You just can't, because for you to have the best time you can have means that you're taking away from other people's experience. And yeah, it's ego, and it's just very selfish, you know. The best D&D games are the ones where players are selfless, where they're willing to lift each other up at their own expense, right? The problem, I think, is that there's a lot of times where players might want to play selfishly, and that's okay if it happens once or twice. Everybody can be selfish in individual spurts, but when it's such a consistent thing, it causes problems, you know. Let's see. Yeah, too many sweats. Too many sweats in D&D. It's just, you know, there's a time and place for sweaty play. I feel like that sounds sexual, but I figure if you're doing a fun game of D&D with your friends, being sweaty and try hard in that context is just extra cringe. It's like, what are we doing? It's the same thing. Like, I love chess. I used to play competitive chess, like going to tournaments and flying around the country to compete in tournaments. I understand it probably is not going to be that fun for most people to play me in chess. I get that. It's okay. So I'm not going to like push it, and I'm not going to be offended if like a couple of my friends are playing chess somewhere at a restaurant or a game night or something. I would understand if I'm like, hey, can I play? If they're like, no. I get it, you know? Because like, it's just, I get it. There's a time and place, right? There's a time and place. Yes, I saw somebody ask, we do have Blood of the Dawnwalker gameplay footage actually. And we can look at it because apparently they made a bunch of improvements, including changing camera angles and all sorts of other stuff. So let's see this. News I met. Okay. The Blood of Dawnwalker. This is the upcoming game by Rebel Wolves, a bunch of former Witcher 3 developers. They went off after The Witcher 3. I think some of them also worked on Cyberpunk for a bit, but they went off, made their own studio, have been working on this game, The Blood of Dawnwalker. And we've kept up on it. We've looked at some of the clips and stuff because they've shared some other stuff. I think it was back in June they did a gameplay reveal. But basically, you're playing as a vampire. You are playing as Cohen, I believe is his name, and you play as a vampire by night, but a man by day. And this allows you to get both sides of the experience. But the whole game is being built with that dynamism in mind. So there's certain routes, certain gameplay options that are available to you as a vampire that are not available to you as a person. And I think we're going to get some looks at that here. But they do stress that a bunch of improvements have been made since June that we're going to see in this. Let's see. Published by Bandai Namco. That's a title sequence right there. Oh, baby. Okay. It says this video features actual gameplay footage from Blood of Dawnwalker. I always want to say Blood of the Dawnwalker, but it's Blood of Dawnwalker. Specifically from a work in progress beta version of the game. Please note that the game is still in development. Everything you see is subject to change. This gameplay session was recorded on PC. This particular footage focuses mostly on demonstrating the storyline, the voice acting, and overall quest structure. You can find more detailed overview of gameplay features and combat mechanics in the first part of the video published back in June. Already the music is very witchery. Very witchery. I like it. They know how to pull on my heartstrings. My Witcher heartstrings.
Hello, my name is Ariana Sierkiewicz and I am one of the writers at Rebel Wolves. In June, we showed you a part of a quest where Cohen is looking for a legendary sword. And today, we're going to get to the end of that quest. The game is currently in the pre-beta stage, so you may still see some bugs and glitches. You will also see some changes and additions we've made to the game based on the community feedback.
Dude, already pre-beta, and it's looking pretty good.
What is it about? You've been heard disrespecting the Kniaz, singing songs that mocked him and the faith.
Who told you this nonsense? Was it
Since one of our game's main features is the duality of Cohen, our hero, who is human by day and a vampire by night, we're gonna show you two ways to play the quest.
help?
This is yet another example of our narrative sandbox. We can approach each of the quests in a variety of ways, remembering about the duality of our hero, human by day and vampire by night, knowing we have both day and night as our allies. In June, we started on the outskirts of Svartro and had a brief stint with some bandits. Cohen got rid of them easily with a few well-timed sword cuts and active abilities. Then we walked around the city a bit until we reached the cathedral, this time entering it without any hassle during the day as a human. Let's continue that playthrough.
So as you can see in the top right, there is a meter. It currently says noon. All of this game is built around time, of course. Vampire by night, human by day. Different tactics and options are available to you based on the time of day and what state your character is in. The other piece is the kind of omnipresent task, rescue your family, 22 days left. And so this is something that the game has been built around since the very, very beginning, like they talked about back in June, where you have to save your family, but you are on a pretty strict timeline for when you have to achieve that goal. For obvious reasons, they're not going to tell us the answer to this, but a lot of games I've noticed that have requirements like this, they end up being like, yeah, it's save your family within 22 days. But there's a way to like get it so it's pretty much unlocked, and it's like, oh, you just like at 5 days left, you do this thing and then it opens up and then you're fine. I don't know exactly how it's going to break down. I don't know if it's going to come down to the wire. Time will tell, but that is a very interesting thing. You don't see in a lot of these types of games. It's a very pressing timeline. Just like Evo 1. Well, and it also, the new Far Cry is expected to work similarly to this, almost identically, because it's also going to have save your family within a certain amount of time. It's expected to be roughly 24-ish real world hours, maybe 48 hours in game or 72 hours in game. So each in game hour is 20 minutes or whatever. But the goal is to keep you like moving and be intentional with it. And some people hate the idea of that. I kind of like it. It gives you like some hustle, and it forces you to like actually really, really get a move on it. It gives a sense of urgency. So I'm actually not bad about it. Whether it's here or with Far Cry, I'm open to it.
The baptism of a newborn is a solemn moment, doubly so. A new life joins our flock, bringing happiness to its parents and to the congregation. Natus ex sanguine est, alitur sanguine, et in sanguine morietur. Ego te baptizo in nomine Dei. Amen.
Amen. Justin, thank you. Chased down by a blind monk.
Don't I know you from somewhere, young man? Laslia, maybe?
That's right. My name's Cohen.
It's a real shame what happened there. So many good people imprisoned. But where there is sin, there must be chastisement. And speaking of sin, come with me. I'll take your confession.
Thank you, but I have no need for confession.
I'm perfect.
So you deem your conscience clear?
I wouldn't go that far. But I'm sure you're a busy man, Father. So while I appreciate the offer, I feel that my soul shouldn't be your priority.
I won't press the matter. You are quite correct. I have many other duties to attend to. But please remember that in order to be saved, we all need to repent. Myself included. I hope we can speak again soon. Good day to you, Cohen.
Father Florin?
We can start by chatting with the deacon. He might know something about the catacombs where Saint Mihai is buried.
Dude, one day I want to have a house where I can just let the candles spill over, like the stone railing. I find that so cool. I know probably it's technically trashy, but man, like, just imagine having all those candles. Oh, I love it. I love it. One day.
Pay the workers, clean up the altar. What else? Oh, right, the bell tower. Yes, what is it? I have much to do, so either be quick about it or leave me to my duties.
Could you point me towards the entrance to the crypt?
What are you talking about?
I wanted to pay my respects to the city's founders. Light a candle in their memory, if possible.
Sorry to
Yeah, you guys are like, oh yeah, all the wax looks delicious. I was waiting for somebody to just type bald. I was waiting for it, dude. You might notice if you rewind, I looked at chat and I was like, I wonder how long it's gonna take.
disappoint, son, but there's no crypt in this house of worship now, if that is all.
I wonder if he likes playing pool or billiards, maybe. It's right up his alley.
Things change, especially in the last few years. Perhaps the crypt was built over or sealed away?
Listen, son. The parish book doesn't say anything about any crypt. I should know. I wrote parts of it myself.
Can I take a look? Just to make sure.
No. The library is not open to just anyone. Still, it seems to me you have plenty of time on your hands and will keep on badgering me. Tell you what, I'll give your idle hands something to do, and afterwards maybe I'll let you take a look into the library,
Okay.
Tell me what you need then.
Our caretaker, Radu, is missing, it seems. It's been a few days since he last came to work, and now his duties have become my duties. I imagine he's lazing about somewhere, having a laugh at my expense.
You know, this also has made me realize that it's like Steve Jobs said back in the day, technology is at its best when it's invisible. And in this case, like, if the camera system is working well, you probably shouldn't notice it, right? Like, if it's working well, you shouldn't have to think about the camera angle being bad or stupid while you're having conversations with NPCs or whatever in an RPG. And in this case, it works really, really well while the conversation's going. The camera's going back and forth. The camera angles are unique and well framed. Depth of field is really pretty. Lighting is good and makes sense within the scene. It's just well executed across the board, which is very, very nice, because there's been a bunch of other games, even recently, where like this is not how it works. And it's like actively kind of frustrating. Like freaking Outer Worlds 2. Can I just pull up a clip of talking to somebody? Like, you know how they started doing this like weird dead on straight in the face? It's not a new thing. Games have done this before, but I really don't like this framing for RPGs. Like, I just don't. I much prefer like The Witcher 3 third person perspective cinematic camera angles. I like that way more than this, where it's just like staring at somebody dead on, chatting with them. Maybe it's supposed to be immersive because it's like you're looking right at them. I don't know, but I don't like it. I like this way more. Call me a Witcher fanboy, I don't care.
Any idea where to look for him? Perhaps he's at home.
Starfield. I was gonna pull up Starfield, but then I was like, no, people make fun of you, Luke, for always using Starfield as an example. I'll use something else. But yes, I was thinking about Starfield the whole time. Yeah.
If I only knew where that is. Radu's a secretive man. No, I'd rather ask around in the almshouse. He spends a lot of time talking to the inmates.
The almshouse? Where is it?
Go out to the courtyard and turn left. Carry on walking until you see a well on your right. The almshouse's entrance is just by that well. I try to avoid going there myself. Ugh, a dreadful place. Really dreadful. Anyway, be on your way, son. And let me know when you find Radu.
Turns out the deacon had his own agenda and asked us to find out what happened to the local caretaker. Let's find the asylum he mentioned. While on those sacred grounds, we should mention that every week, in some of Vales and Gora's churches, people gather for the so-called Blood Mass. It was established by Brensis and his clique of vampires after they took rule in Vales and Gora. Every villager is required to donate a significant amount of their blood, and in return, they are cured from all illness. Like Cohen's sister in the CGI trailer. It's how Brensis controls the population. Each blood mass is conducted by Father Florin himself.
Dude, already the city looks really good. The music, the vibes, man, the vibes. No loading screens? How is this even possible?
We could go there today. See if we can help.
Yeah, right. The deacon will be really glad to see dirty bums like us walking around his
Dirty
glorious
bums.
church.
You don't know that, maybe?
Oh, stuff it. We'll go and see Dragan instead. He's on.
Maybe someone in here has seen the caretaker.
Where's the load screen?
Sister is too busy to take a look at him. It's just a matter of time until that wound festers.
What do you want?
I'm looking for the caretaker. I've been told he sometimes comes here.
You mean Radu? Yeah, I know him.
Mr. Radu.
Steer clear of that bastard.
Any idea where he is?
Right now? Nah. But I do know something. Might be interesting for you.
Really?
Looks like a Reddit
right,
mod.
tell me.
That's not how it works, friend. I need a little palm grease first.
Here you go. It better be worth it.
It is. Something strange is going on here. Every night there are noises. Creaking, scratching, and I don't know, things being pushed around. Some of the folk here say the building's haunted.
Classic.
Listen, I didn't pay to hear a ghost story. You were supposed to tell me about the caretaker.
Oh, I'm getting there. I'm not trying to swindle you or nothing. You see, there's a closed-off wing here. They put the plague patients there when it first hit. But one day, they decided they were beyond help and sealed them all off, left them all to die. But I hear that the caretaker knew how to get in there, some secret entrance, and used it, but I don't know what for.
I see. Any idea where it might be?
Somewhere upstairs, I think. You'd have to look around.
All right, I'll check it out. Thanks.
It seems the asylum resident, apart from telling us a gruesome story about what happened to the plague patients, gave us a useful hint about the secret entrance to the asylum wing. For a price, of course.
Open the door.
Using focus mode allows us to see that there might be something hidden behind the shelves.
Dude, it's straight up Witcher.
Scratches on the floor.
It's straight up Witcher. They have a focused detective mode, dude. When's Alley? Yeah.
Let's investigate the location. It It was a separate wing for patients who fell ill with the plague.
Oh, yeah, the clock just ticked forward. Time has
Damn.
passed.
What a stench. Something's rotten in here.
You mean all the bodies? Could that
So
possibly
many
be
died
it?
here. In isolation.
Revelio. 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 Exactly. I wonder how they're going to fix that in the sequel.
This wing was blocked off, and they were left to die a terrible death.
Uh-oh.
Something else happened here.
A murder?
Died recently. Killed by something bestial.
This body looks fresh compared to the rest.
Ah, because of the skin. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. Every time.
It's getting better and better.
We have to face a creature called Muron. While it is theoretically a vampire, its transformation did not go correctly. Occasionally, Murons produce loud, inhuman screams which stun the target, if it is within the scream's range.
Like, Bruxa?
You!
As you can observe, their behavior is chaotic and hard to predict. Muroni possessed the vampiric ability of Shadow Step. However, it is juggy and unstable.
These must have killed Radu and the missing residents.
We can learn more about what has happened here by using the Compel Soul hex. You can learn this hex during the game. It is a feature enabling the player to talk with certain corpses, those that have moths flying above them. Magic is only available to Cohen in his human form. We wouldn't be able to talk to the dead had we come here at night.
It's you, isn't it? Please, please, stop! It hurts! I beg you! We're friends! Radu, please!
That's enough. Rest now.
We can go back to the Deacon now and
Hardcore.
report our findings. Before we chat to him, notice that our current objective again has the hourglass symbol. This tells you that the dialogue will push the time forward.
Yes? Why are you pestering me again?
I know what happened to Radu.
Yeah,
Good.
He's in pieces.
So, what was that wastrel doing all this time? Getting drunk on communion wine?
Being
Tell me.
dead.
I found him in the almshouse, in the sealed-off wing. The caretaker was hiding there, but he was no longer human. He turned into something terrible, a monster. I'm sorry, but I had to kill him.
What? I don't understand. What happened to Radu?
But you feel bad for bad-mouthing him
He was
now.
involved in something. Something dark. There were corpses in his hiding place. Probably his latest victims. But how he became that creature is anyone's guess.
A monster in the house of God. First the plague, now this. Oh, truly, we might just be living in the end times. Right.
I don't blame him
I'll
for
have to
thinking
talk to
that.
the guards, send them to retrieve the bodies, and clean up that place.
You do what you need to do, but I believe we had a deal. May I enter the library now?
I must read.
Yes, you may go inside with my blessing. I'll tell someone to leave the door unlocked for you. The book you're looking for, it's called The Annals of Svartrau Cathedral. Now, excuse me, I must go to Father Florin and tell him we need a new caretaker.
He gave us access to the library in exchange for our information. Let's go there and find the book he has mentioned.
Okay.
Reading books in our game works surprisingly similarly to the way it works in real life. They might teach us new skills or give us additional experience.
I just want to go. You have to read them, dumbass. If you want to read it, you gotta read it. Mr. Beard, thank you. Voldemort? You seen the bald guy look like Voldemort? A little. I'll give you that. What is this AI voice? No, this is just what people in Europe sound like.
And load a save game from the night variant playthrough of this quest.
Is it a robot or a European? I can't tell.
We are again in Svartro, in front of the cathedral.
I love the movement.
Guidance. They'll guide us right to our grave, those fucks.
It's beautiful.
As a vampire, you'll see and experience the world from a different perspective.
You sure it'll work?
Certain as the sunrise. And if not, I'll pay you back double.
Provided I'm able to crawl back to you. It's Rakiri blood after all. Sorry.
Let's get inside the building using Cohen's vampiric abilities, Plane Shift and Shadow Step.
I love that.
You can travel quickly and easily access places beyond the reach of regular humans. Last time we were inside the cathedral, we came across Xanthi, one of Brensis's officers. She was a difficult opponent for Cohen, so this time we're going to be smart about it, stay on the scaffoldings, and show you an alternative approach.
Better be quiet.
To blood.
Blood, blood, blood.
You shall
Is that
become Kenya's
Voyeurs Xanthi?
most faithful
What the hell is she doing
servant.
here?
His command
Yeah, so if you missed the clip back in June, there was a boss fight down there. It
Is that
sounds
a
like they're doing
ritual
it
for the
different.
blood gods?
blood god shall become your new family. You shall want for nothing. You shall yearn for nothing.
They're covering up the old paintings. Why?
Blood to blood.
One of the workers must have left it.
You shall become Kenya's
Seems that the cathedral complex is quite big. The main building, cloisters, inner courtyard. The entrance to the crypt could be anywhere. Won't get anything done just standing around. Still, staying up here would be a smart idea.
Your fellow blood god shall become your new family. You shall want for nothing. You shall yearn for nothing. Only duty shall remain.
Bound in blood.
Blood to blood.
Let's start by checking out one of the frescoes in detail.
You shall
Sanctus
become
Mihai,
Brensis's most
patron saint of
faithful
Svartra
servant.
himself.
His command
Victorious
shall
and
become the
well-loved.
sole voice in your heart.
There's the legendary silver sword.
Blood god shall become your
I hope
new
it really does
family.
exist.
You shall want for nothing. You shall yearn for nothing. Only duty shall remain.
Saint Mihai's symbol. Good. It should help my search.
Turns out, this one was actually about Saint Mihai, owner of the sword we're after. The powerful weapon might tip the scales in Cohen's favor and help him save his family from the vampire lord Brensis.
Command shall become the sole voice in your hearts. Your fellow blood god shall
We can check some of the buildings in the courtyard. Maybe we'll find some interesting clues inside them. Let's shadow step to this one below. It's the library we were supposed to enter a few moments ago, in our day variant playthrough.
So many books.
It seems that people don't usually close the balcony doors in Svartro. We can again use our system of getting a closer look at certain objects to both appreciate the beauty of the story being crafted in front of our eyes and to uncover secrets about Vale Sangora.
The annals of Svartrau Cathedral. They're bound to have some information on St. Mihai's crypt. And thus St. Mihai was laid to rest in the catacombs beneath the cathedral's side courtyard, by the cloisters. Marked by his own personal sigil, the saint's remains and his sword were buried under a memorial stone. Under St. Mihai's memorial stone. And I already know his symbol.
Alright, we should be looking for a crypt somewhere on the premises of the Svartrau Cathedral. Let's grab the door key on the way to open the door.
Okay.
The cathedral is heavily guarded outside, and it looks like the guards aren't really fond of Cohen lurking around the premises. Let's deal with them swiftly, using our claws.
Gadoosh.
We've listened to your feedback, and we've worked on the flow of using active abilities. We are no longer pausing the choice menu. It's real-time, in gameplay. It's also a good opportunity to show you another use of the Voracious Bite ability Cohen uses to drain people's blood. In combat, it will both replenish your health and deal some damage.
I love seeing them listening to feedback and
on.
changing it
Let's
quickly like
explore
that.
the other areas in the courtyard.
It's so good to see. Because that was back in June, there were a number of complaints. Like the combat was a little abrupt and like start, stop. Because every time you'd open the radial wheel, it would freeze
You can
completely.
fight with a sword as a vampire too. But before we engage, let's adjust the camera. Camera placement was one of the hottest topics after our gameplay reveal. We've got lots of feedback about it, and we decided to add a second option for those of you who prefer the camera slightly further away from the character. The camera will be adjustable for combat and exploration separately, so you can choose the setup you prefer.
I like that. It's making an option.
Cohen's faster using the sword as a vampire compared to his human form.
Oh.
Take notice of the hourglass icon next to our objective. It indicates that opening the crypt will move the time forward.
Okay.
How about here? St. Mihai's symbol.
Let's open the entrance and investigate the crypt.
Crypty.
Lighting up a torch might be a good idea.
Yeah, for people mentioning like clunkiness or improvements,
must have been.
This is technically pre-alpha or pre-beta rather. So it's an alpha. Most games would never be shown in this state. And considering that, I think it looks really, really good. Like this type of this stage of development is something that usually they will not reveal because you get comments like, "Oh, well, it's not super smooth," or it needs polish here and there. This is not close to what they're saying the launch version will look like. Already from June, there's been major improvements already, not just graphically, but sound design, the animation, all of it. So I'm confident a lot of these things are going to continue to get improved as time goes by.
Sealed off for ages. I wonder why.
We can hear some moaning coming from behind one of the walls. Let's investigate this.
Is that moaning?
When you hear moaning, move closer.
I think it's coming from behind this wall.
I think that's in the Bible, I think. Thou shalt move closer towards the moaning.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Sounds demonic. We found it. The sword.
Wait, are you Mihai?
Tobias!
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You'll finally pay what you did to me, Tobias. I'm not... Shit! Listen to me! No more of your eyes!
We've been attacked by Mihai, who was an important figure in the valley. And for some reason, he was buried alive in the catacombs. Of course, as players, you'll be able to learn why that has happened. But we'd like to avoid too many spoilers here. That's why we are stopping this presentation mid-fight.
Who's Tobias? The blood
We hope
of
that you
Dawn.
have enjoyed seeing how much variation there is behind just one of the objectives in the game. Remember, our design principle is the narrative sandbox. There is no difference between main quests and side quests. There are just different stories that you weave together into your own unique adventure. Thank you for joining me today, and stay tuned for more updates on our social media profiles. Bye!
Coming next year, 2026. Yeah, so just to be very, very clear, what they showed with that whole plot line of going and finding the dead guy and then using that to get access to the library, that's one route. Or like they showed with the nighttime sequence, you could just go climb up, jump in, break in, and do it that way. Like, so much variability. There's going to be a lot of stuff you will not see if you are doing objectives with like nighttime. There's going to be stuff you don't see if you're doing the objectives at daytime. It's one of those games that you probably are going to like be able to justify an easy second playthrough, if not a third one, just with how much variability there is. And again, I can't stress this enough. This is a pre-beta gameplay demonstration. This is something sometimes like media or influencers will get access to early on. Like, this is the thing you see when you hear a behind closed door demo or something. This is the state that you might get to see a game in. It's not typically shown publicly because people will be critical of what they see. But the fact that they're showing it this early, getting feedback on stuff like camera angles, combat adjustments, UI elements, all of that, they're improving and using to actually make the game better, which again, I just absolutely love. Developers that listen to feedback and act on it quickly. I mean, it's not like, yeah, well, we hear your feedback, we'll make improvements, like we'll get to it after launch, maybe with like an update a couple months after launch. No. They're just like, no, right now, we're making the change right now. And it's really good to see. So go wishlist the game if you haven't already, just so you get updates on like new trailers and stuff. But I think it looks really good. I'm very excited. Big excite, very excited. Let's see. I've seen games release in worse states. Unfortunately, it's true. It makes you really wonder what the standards are. Like, if their standards define this as pre-beta, what are the standards for some of these other companies that release games fully in way worse states than that? You know, it's pretty crazy. Mr. Beard, thank you. You've been so incredibly generous. It's ridiculous.
Mr. Beard donated 36 Qatari Riyals and 99 dirhams through Super Chat. Mirage DLC is in 4 days, but I still think it's too late. Everyone moved on from that game. Even Ubisoft themselves moved on since they released Shadows.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think the hardcore guys will go back and play it. They're going to put advertisements for it all over Valhalla, Odyssey, Shadows on the main menu. So they will get some players to filter back in for the free update, because why not? But like I wouldn't expect it to like break records or anything. Certainly, it's very much a treat, a bone that they're throwing the fans. But it's also why I think probably if there's one player that's currently talking with Ubisoft about going private, it's probably the Saudi Private Investment Fund, because they just did it with EA, or they're about to, and they also are actively working with Ubisoft. So I think it might be connected. We'll see. We'll see. Do you think we'll see anything about Covenant and TGA? I personally wouldn't expect to. It's because that's the one that's being made by like one guy, is it? Or am I thinking of a different one? No, I think this is a different one. Sorry, my kids are upstairs jumping up and down, so you might hear it in the microphone. Yeah, I don't think this is the one being made by one guy, but yeah, this is the first person Souls-like game. I personally wouldn't expect too much with it. I have a feeling like this Game Awards is going to be dominated by a lot of like pretty big publishers and stuff, because now that GTA 6 has been delayed, I think they have a lot more wiggle room. Pretty much anything launching in the first 9 months of next year, I think, can be shown off at the Game Awards. So are you going to be streaming the Game Awards this year? Yeah, I did receive an invite to go to the Game Awards, but I think we're going to stay home and co-stream it. I think we're going to stay home. Like going would be like cool or whatever, but I think we'll have more fun if I co-stream it personally. His power levels are all over the place. Oh, you mean in terms of balancing or damage? What do you think? I'm not sure. Something's going to get snubbed on Monday. Yeah, I mean, there's only, I think, 6 spots for Game of the Year and for each category. So something's got to get snubbed, unfortunately. Something's got to get snubbed. Voldemort. Oh, I read that one. Will you cover Star Citizen and its major update on the 20th? They're adding a 3rd star system. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the updated game. Yeah, I'd like to jump back in. I'm not sure, knowing how their typical launches go. I doubt I could even play it on the 20th. At least not without major headaches. So I'm down to check it out. But I mean, it's probably something I'll check out the days following the update, and then maybe we do an update video after that. I could see doing that. Okay. Better not be KCD 2. I would really be surprised if they dropped off KCD 2. I think if something gets dropped off, I was gonna say Death Stranding 2, but it's Jeff. It's Jeff. I mean, KCD2 gets snubbed. The thing to remember with this is that the people who are deciding what gets nominated, it's a panel of industry insiders and like press and media and journalists and developers in some cases, but it's mainly games media that are voting on it. So if a game is really popular with games media, like Last of Us Part 2, it's going to do well at the Game Awards because it's going to get nominated. They're going to vote for it. But if a game is unpopular with games media, it doesn't. Like, remember Hogwarts Legacy, biggest game of the year, and they just pretended like it didn't exist, which was freaking hilarious. But that's the key, is that the ones that are deciding it are like the big players in the industry, a lot of them being media outlets and stuff. And so yeah, Black Myth Wukong, yeah. Split Fiction, sadly, I think just because Split Fiction kind of got dropped off the narrative, like people just don't really talk about it much, it could. But if they're going off of Metacritic scores, I think you'd have to look at probably Death Stranding, KCD2, and Ghost of Yotei falling off. But yeah, I really hope KCD2 gets recognition. So good. Anyway, fam, I am going to call it there. I'll be back on Monday, rocking and rolling. We should have Game Award nominations. We should have updates to a number of things that hopefully are exciting dropping. We should hear what happens with Ubisoft probably early next week, if not Monday. So we'll look forward to that. But I appreciate the gosh darn heck out of all of you. You guys were ridiculously generous today with super chats, memberships, gifted subs, gifted memberships. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you more than you could possibly know. Truly, thank you. I'll go pick Nikki up a coffee right after stream, and I'll just tell her Mr. Beard gave you this. She's like, what? But thank you guys. Truly, truly appreciate you. We'll be back on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. Much love. Enjoy whatever games you're playing, and I'll see you soon, okay? Much love. Much love. See you. Mwah.